such thing as a conventional nuclear weapon. For 19 peril-filled years, no nation has loosed the atom against another. To do so now is a political decision of the highest order, and it would lead us down an uncertain path of blows and counter-blows whose outcome none may know. No president of the United States of America can divest himself of the responsibility for such a decision.
The question in my mind is, how can you prevent war with policies that are making communist countries content with communism, or foreign aid policies that are making them even more content? And at the same time, nuclear policies which alienate our NATO allies. You cannot stop a man who has vowed to bury you by sending him shovels, by feeding and clothing his friends, while denying your friends the means to help protect you. You can't stop him by letting him edge up closer and closer to you, as he's doing right now.
All Americans must have the privileges of citizenship, regardless of race. And they are going to have those privileges of citizenship, regardless of race. But I would like to caution you and remind you that to exercise these privileges takes much more than just legal right. It requires a trained mind and a healthy body. It requires a decent home and the chance to find a job and the opportunity to escape from the clutches of poverty. Of course, people cannot contribute to the nation if they are never taught to read or write, if their bodies are stunted from hunger, if their sickness goes untended, if their life is spent in hopeless poverty, just drawing a welfare check. So we want to open the gates to opportunity. But we're also going to give all our people, black and white, the help that they need to walk through those gates.
Social Security is a contract between the federal government and you. And when I say you, it's all of we American people who pay Social Security. I don't believe in breaking contracts, and neither does the government. And I have never at any time advocating doing away with Social Security. Now, what I am concerned about, though, and I wish there were more of us in the Senate like Norris Cotton and myself who'd worry about this, is the fact that you, all of us, paying our money in, paying our dollars into Social Security, when we get to the age to get it back, we're not going to get our dollar back. Now, the dollar today has reduced in value over 50% from what it was a mere 20 years ago. Yet we're going to see a greater decrease with more and more inflation. Now, I don't believe in inflation, and I don't think we need to have unusual inflation in this country. But to invite inflation by the constant deficit spending that we're doing, this is what I'm trying to talk about in Social Security. I'm trying to get the older people and the younger people to realize that if this kind of wasteful expenditure continues in our government, that when it comes time for them to get their Social Security, they're not going to do too well. And I don't think you have to go further than to ask the recipient today of Social Security if they're living very high off the hog. And they're not. I remember when I first went to work, I read an ad in a magazine that's long since out of business, retire on $125 a month. And they had a picture of a man and his wife sitting under a palm tree or an orange tree in Florida. So I bought one. It's all paid up. And when I get to be 65, I can retire on $125 a month. Trouble is, that won't even buy an orange tree.
Back in July in San Francisco, the Republicans held a convention. Remember him? He was there. Governor Rockefeller. Before the convention, he said Barry Goldwater's positions can, and I quote, spell disaster for the party and for the country. Or him, Governor Scranton. The day before the convention, he called Goldwaterism a, quote, crazy quilt collection of absurd and dangerous positions. Or this man, Governor Romney. In June, he said Goldwater's nomination would lead to the, quote, suicidal destruction of the Republican Party. So, even if you're a Republican with serious doubts about Barry Goldwater, you're in good company. Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
Don't look now, young man, but somebody has his hand in your pocket. It's the hand of big government. It's taking away about 4 months' pay from what your daddy earns every year. $1 out of every 3 in his paycheck. And it's taking the security out of your grandmother's Social Security.
You know, that's the great trouble with big inflationary government. It takes more and more of your earnings. It slowly but surely destroys individual initiative and responsibility. Government must draw its strength from the people. And as it drains away this strength, it must inevitably undermine the foundations of self-government. I ask you to join me in helping restore the individual freedoms and initiatives this nation once knew, to make government more the servant and not the master of us all. In this free nation, we do not choose to be ruled. We elect to be governed.
In your heart, you know he's right. Vote for Barry Goldwater.
Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
Hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Оглядывайтесь. Мы вас не добили под Сталинградом, а Украине, Беларуси.
Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible.
Против нас и будете опять готовить нападение, мы так ухнем.
Liberty and justice for all.
I want American kids to grow up as Americans, and they will, if we have the guts to make our intentions clear. So clear they don't need translation or interpretation, just respect for a country prepared as no country in all history ever was.
In your heart, you know he's right. Vote for Barry Goldwater.
Here is why 108 nations signed a treaty. It's called the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Radioactive fallout from atomic testing is a biological risk. That's why the United States, during the Kennedy-Johnson administration, joined with other nations in halting poisonous atomic tests in the atmosphere. President Johnson will not break this treaty for as long as all the other nations honor it. On November 3rd, vote for President Johnson. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
His moral responsibility out of style, our papers and our newsreels, and yes, our own observations tell us that immorality surrounds us as never before. We see violence in the streets, in our cities and suburbs, graft and corruption in the highest public offices to which we look for leadership, when scandal in local and national government has become so commonplace that many begin to consider it a way of life. Then I say that we, as a nation, are not far from the kind of moral decay that has brought on the fall of other nations and people. The philosophy of something for nothing, the cult of individual and government irresponsibility, is an insidious cancer that will destroy us as a people unless we recognize it and root it out now. I say it is time to put conscience back in government, and by good example, put it back in all walks of American life.
In your heart, you know he's right. Vote for Barry Goldwater.
One, two.
3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other, or we must die.
Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
The oath of office will now be administered to the President by the Chief Justice of the United States.
You, Lyndon Baines Johnson, do solemnly swear
I, Lyndon Baines Johnson, do solemnly swear
that you will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of the Presidency of the United States
the office of the Presidency of the United States
and will, to the best of your ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God. My fellow countrymen, on this occasion, the oath I have taken before you and before God is not mine alone, but ours together. We are one nation and one people. Our fate as a nation and our future as a people rests not upon one citizen, but upon all citizens. That is the majesty and the meaning of this moment. For every generation, there is a destiny. For some, history decides for this generation the choice must be our own. Even now, a rocket moves toward Mars. It reminds us that the world will not be the same for our children or even for ourselves in a short span of years. The next man to stand here will look out on a scene that is different from our own, because ours is a time of change, rapid and fantastic change, bearing the secrets of nature, multiplying the nations, placing in uncertain hands new weapons for mastery and destruction, shaking old values and uprooting old ways. Our destiny in the midst of change will rest on the unchanged character of our people and on their faith. They came here, the exile and the stranger, brave but frightened, to find a place where a man could be his own man. They made a covenant with this land, conceived in justice, written in liberty, bound in union. It was meant one day to inspire the hopes of all mankind, and it binds us still. If we keep its terms, we shall flourish under this covenant of justice, liberty, and union. We have become a nation, prosperous, great, and mighty. And we have kept our freedom. But we have no promise from God that our greatness will endure. We have been allowed by Him to seek greatness with the sweat of our hands and the strength of our spirit. I do not believe that the great society is the ordered, changeless, and sterile battalion of the ants. It is the excitement of becoming, always becoming, trying, probing, falling, resting, and trying again, but always trying and always gaining. In each generation, with toil and tears, we have had to earn our heritage again. If we fail now, then we will have forgotten in abundance what we learned in hardship. That democracy rests on faith. That freedom asks more than it gives. And the judgment of God is harshest on those who are most favored. If we succeed, it will not be because of what we have, but it will be because of what we are. Not because of what we own, but rather because of what we believe. For we are a nation of believers. Underneath the clamor of building and the rush of our day's pursuits, we are believers in justice and liberty and union, and in our own union. We believe that every man must someday be free. And we believe in ourselves. And that is the mistake that our enemies have always made. in my lifetime, in depression and in war, they have awaited our defeat. Each time, from the secret places of the American heart, came forth the faith that they could not see or that they could not even imagine. And it brought us victory, and it will again. For this is what America is all about. It is the uncrossed desert and the unclimbed ridge. It is the star that is not reached and the harvest that's sleeping in the unplowed ground. Is our world gone? We say farewell. Is a new world coming? We welcome it, and we will bend it to the hopes of man. And to these trusted public servants, and to my family and those close friends of mine who have followed me down a long, winding road, and to all the people of this union and the world, I will repeat today what I said on that sorrowful day in November last year. I will lead, and I will do the best I can. But you must look within your own hearts to the old promises and to the old dream. They will lead you best of all. For myself, I ask only in the words of an ancient leader, give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this, thy people, that is so great?